This portion of the John Fredericks Show is brought to you by Hargrave Military Academy. Attend an educational and informative open house event at Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia. For more information, visit online at hargrave.edu. Hargrave Military Academy. Build his future.
Joining us now from D.C. in the Capitol, Congressman Morgan Griffith from the 9th District, that's Southwest Virginia. Congressman, happy to have you with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope you are.
Well, I'm doing fine. I'm a lot better off down here than I am up there. Now, we understand that Speaker Boehner, Eric Cantor, Congressman McCarthy, others in leadership trying to get some kind of a deal worked out to avert the nefarious October 17th drop-dead deadline for the debt crisis. But I know many of you are saying, look, we need real fiscal reform, and if not now, when, right?
Well, there's no question that we need real fiscal reform, and we need to make sure that we're looking out for the long-term good of the United States of America and not just, the short-term good. Mm-hmm. And that's often a mistake that many people make. That being said, I am disappointed that the short-term deal that the Speaker and others were working on didn't come to the floor for a vote, because I think it would have been very interesting, because it had been narrowed down, didn't do everything I wanted, mm-hmm. but it was going to make the issue one main issue, and that is, Mr. President, if you think Obamacare is so great, mm-hmm. why won't you enroll your family? If it's not good enough for your children, why should it be good enough for the children of Virginia or any other of the various states?
I think that's the key question, and I asked this of Congressman Hurt, Congressman Griffith, that was on earlier, because from anybody's vantage point out there, you're a layman. You're thinking to yourself, okay, you're going to make me sign up with the exchanges. If I don't do the law that you've told me is going to be good for me, then bad things will happen to me. I'm going to get fined. The Internal Revenue Service is going to be at my door. Something bad will happen if I don't sign up through your exchanges. Yet you're not going to sign up. You've exempted yourself, your family, your staff, your vice president, his staff, your political friends, their staff, your cabinet, their staff, and everybody on the House and their staff. They're not only exempted, but then they're going to be subsidized with our taxpayer dollars, so they don't have to participate in it. How does that make any sense?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, that the president, his name is on the bill. That's why everybody calls it Obamacare. It's basically an admission on his part that the program is an abject failure, that it's not a very good program, and it's all a bunch of smoke and mirrors to try to make the American people think that he's done something great, when in reality, if it were great, he wouldn't hesitate. Even if it were just okay, he wouldn't hesitate to sign up. He'd say, okay, if that's what all the Republicans want, I'll do it. He's not even willing to do that. He threatened to veto the bill yesterday. He said, if that comes over here, I'm going to veto it. There's only one reason why he'd want to veto it, and that is he knows that his children wouldn't get the health care that they need. Mm-hmm. Now, my wife and I are going to be going into the exchange. After looking at it extensively, even though I'm not sure it was the right thing for Congress to have done across the board, because I don't like Obamacare, period, Congress and our staffs and our families have to sign up for the exchange, and I believe the supplement is illegal. Mm-hmm. That the president, through one of his agencies, said, we can give you all the supplement. I believe it's illegal. I'm advising my staff to act accordingly on that, mm-hmm. And we're going to go forward. But you know what? It really does dishearten me that a leader of the United States of America, the President of the United States, puts a bill forward, forces it through the Congress without a single Republican vote, says it's going to be great for you. Nancy Pelosi says, you're going to like it. We just have to wait till we see what's in it. We've got to pass it to find out what's in it, but you're right. going to like it. And they are not willing to live with the consequences of the program they built. As you know, I think it's a house of cards, and it's all going to fall apart. Mm-hmm. But it's really disingenuous, mm-hmm. and it really has me irritated this morning that the president threatened mm-hmm. a veto if he has to live under Obamacare. And look, I understand he doesn't want his children, he doesn't want his daughters, he doesn't want his wife having some medical problem and having to deal with the insurance through the Obamacare exchanges, because he knows we're getting a lesser product for a higher price, and it's going to damage the American medical system.
I was, as you, taken aback yesterday. I mean, it took my breath away when I heard the president's statement that after saying that if we don't avert this debt crisis, that it was going to be the end of the world as we know it, and then saying, well, I'm going to veto any bill that comes on my desk, even if it's going to avert the debt crisis, if I've got to put my family in the comprehensive Obamacare program that I created, that by law I'm going to force everybody else to go in. I mean, how do you intellectually reconcile that?
Well, I don't know that you can intellectually reconcile it. My best guess is the First Lady said, "No, don't be doing that to my family," and so he came out with his veto threat. But it makes no sense whatsoever. If that plan was worth anywhere near its salt, or had any real value in for the average family, he wouldn't hesitate to sign up for it. He's not going to be president forever, and he would say, "Look, I've built a program that I'm proud to stand behind." But clearly, he's ashamed of his own plan, and it's just unfortunate that we have a leader who puts forward a plan for everyone in America except himself.
It's as I was saying to Congressman Hurt earlier, Congressman Griffith, I've seen a lot. Nothing surprises me. I mean, I'm 55. I've been covering this stuff one way or the other for a long time. That statement really took my breath away. I mean, and when I first saw it, I'm like, I misread this, or it got garbled, because that could not have been what the president of the free world just said. It just can't be. And, we checked it out. It is. So Congressman, it sounds like what you're saying, that had the bill that John Boehner and Eric Cantor were working on yesterday, the one that you just mentioned, it sounds like had that gotten out of rules and gotten to the floor, that you would have taken a serious look at it and may have offered up a positive on that, right?
Well, that is correct. I'd actually already read the bill in anticipation that it would get out of rules. And look, it didn't do everything I wanted. It wasn't a perfect bill. But I think it framed it very well, and that was, okay, Mr. President, you want to open up the government, we'll open it up. We'll extend out the dates, the January 7 on the debt ceiling, December 15 on the CR, the continuing resolution to run the country. But here's what we want. We want you to be a part of your bill, Obamacare. I can tell you, if it was Morgancare, I'd be signing up. If I had drafted something and pushed it off on the American people, I'd be saying, yes, I have to be a leader. I have to step up to the plate and do it. Instead, he threatens the veto. And I'm sure that was part of what happened in rules, because some Republicans, recognizing it wasn't a perfect bill, said they couldn't vote for it. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats formed a locked arms phalanx and said, we're going to protect the president on this, and we're going to keep him from having to be under Obamacare.
I mean, it's an incredible scenario, as we're now learning, Congressman, how this got played out. Basically, President Obama said, let them eat cake. The rule is good enough for everybody else, the other schmucks out there, but it's certainly not good enough for me or my family. And so that, I'm going to risk default and all these bad things that are going to happen simply because I'm not interested in putting my family under this plan that everybody else has to be under it, in threat of fine or other bad things happening from the IRS. This is just mind-boggling. Okay, Congressman, let me ask you this. Yesterday we had on Congressman Bobby Scott from Virginia, 3rd District, like yourself. Bobby Scott, very candid, said, look, these Republicans down there, they have no strategy, have no plan. They don't know how to get out of this thing. They've painted themselves into a corner, and they don't know what to do. How do you respond to that?
Well, I would say that he's wrong, that we have had a plan. We still have a plan. Problem is that without some bipartisan negotiations, without there being a real effort to respect the prerogatives of the House, by the administration and by the Senate. They have put the country into a situation where we now are looking at, we've had a government shutdown now for over 2 weeks, and now we're coming up on a debt ceiling, which is a serious situation, and we can all get into arguments about when it is a default and when it isn't, but it's a serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
Constitution says that, when the two houses don't agree, they should negotiate amongst themselves. Right now, we have only the Senate Democrat leadership negotiating with Republican senators. Now, that's not what the Constitution said. It says they're supposed to work it out with the majority in the House, but they are attempting to completely bypass the House and the House's concerns and consideration on this,
mm-hmm.
and we'll have to see where it leads. But it's a not only damaging in the short term, but when you look at the way our government runs, if you can completely stonewall one of the two houses, mm-hmm. next time it may be the Senate, but just because they do it doesn't mean we should.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can completely stonewall one of the two houses of our legislative branch of government, you can pick the issues out. But we're going to see aftershocks from this well into the future. It'll be 20 or 30 years unless we can get in there and put this train right back, put it back on the right track and get it going in the right direction. And so I'm very concerned not only on these issues, but the long-term health of our republic.
Look, Congressman, there's no question, and there's no plan in place. And I guess the other final question for the purpose of time that we have, Congressman Scott, one of the other things he said yesterday is he called for a discharge petition. And he said on the air that, look, if I can get, or somebody can get one or two Republicans to just sign off on that, and he said that some of them are weak-kneed. He actually used the phrase that, a couple days into this shutdown, some of the moderates in the House wet their pants and got all tangled up over it, that he said if you simply had one Republican sign the petition, that a flood of them would come over and the Tea Party or conservative opposition would crumble, and then you'd get a clean resolution. That would be the end of it. Is he accurate on that?
He's not. It's really interesting because the discharge that the bill that they want to discharge is a James Lankford bill,
mm-hmm.
and I'm a co-patron or co-sponsor of that bill. And if the Democrats would agree to pass that bill without amending it, I'd say, hey, let's do it. The problem is that they're being a little disingenuous, and they're saying we want to discharge this bill. That bill would set up a process to prevent future government shutdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
But what they want to do is they want to bring it to the floor and then change the bill. It's just another political game, a political tactic. They're telling people something, and it's really something completely different. But if they really like that bill so much that they want to discharge it, how come there's not one single Democrat co-sponsor of the bill? I checked with James Lankford yesterday at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Not one Democrat is willing to sign on to be a co-sponsor of a bill they now want to discharge from committee.
That is the final word. We're out of time. We want to thank you for joining us, Congressman Morgan Griffith, always candid, right here on the John Fredericks Radio Network. If people want to find out more about what you're doing or sign up for your email newsletter, direct them where to go, please.
morgangriffith.house.gov.
There it goes, morgangriffith.house.gov. Congressman, always an honor to have you on. We appreciate your service and taking your time with our listeners today.